What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we'll be taking a look at the action going on here in the cryptocurrency market. We'll take a look at the Ethereum price chart. We'll look at the Bitcoin price chart, the altcoin market. We'll peek around at different altcoins to see what's going on out there. As for the first time in a long time, look over there on the right side of that screen. Everything is green today. So definitely a different attitude out there on Twitter, a little bit more optimism, a lot of skepticism out there still, but we'll take a peek at what's going on in here. We've spent some time really, right now I've got the Ethereum price chart in front of us right here, but we've spent some time talking about hitting the top of this range boundary, eventually pulling back and then heading sideways. And I want to review that really quick. We've been talking about this for several weeks. Here's a video from December 16th. So almost 3 weeks ago, perfect action. Like magic, Bitcoin price chart and Ethereum reject off top of range, hunting for reduced volatility. Let's take a peek at this really quick. But now it's going to be about seeing this volatility calm down and things start to get boring again. What I'd like to see is some type of support level start to kind of work its way in here. And then we just kind of start creeping for a little while. And then it probably does have another low to end up setting here. And then, like I've talked about this week, that I haven't been posting, thumbnails and titles to be like, imminent breakouts coming, upside, here we go. Because this has been my big thesis of what we've been doing in here, and that we would see a pullback come off of the top of the range. It was that we would move to the top of the range and then we'd have a pullback off of the range. The last things I'll be looking for in this structure to start becoming like, here we go, it's time to get going, is for volatility to now calm down. Let's get rid of all the volatility. It's typical that we see that during Fed week. It's typical we see it the day leading up to it, the day of it, the day after. Here we are, we're now 2 days after. Yesterday, the Dow Jones was like down 700 points. Today, it's going to open. Right now, it's down 359 points. Yesterday, it was down 764. So the optimistic thing now would be to have a reduction in volatility and to see things get boring again and frustrating again, and then having one more dip, and then imminent breakout on the way. It's mood time. But the first things we need to see is volatility actually start to calm down. So we've gotten all the things that we've been looking for. We wanted to get back to the top of the range. We expected rejection off of the range. Next up will be absolute boredom, boring, reduced volatility, and grinding. And well, here we are a couple of weeks later, and boom, like the title said, like magic, we've gotten exactly what we were looking for in here that we were hoping for 3 weeks ago. But what does that say? That says the potential for this thing to still pull back a little bit longer and keep on going. I know a lot of people are very focused on time. It's the question I get asked every single day. When? Nothing is going to predict time. You're wasting your time asking the words when. But what we could see is structurally, we got what was expected for a positive setup to be happening in here. The thing now is going to be is how does it react from here? If this thing goes and it breaks up to the top of the range, I will completely forget all about that and say, I'm not worried about that anymore. However, as we're now back into this, for me, it's got to be thought of as an ABC as anticipated in here. So not exactly what everybody would want to hear on a green day, but it just depends on what your perspective is. If you need prices to shoot up 30% today, and then that's just hallelujah scream, and then we just kind of die out afterwards, that's each person's thing. I'm looking at this from a much bigger perspective to see a real reversal start to emerge in here. And these are the kind of things that tend to happen before a real reversal can show up. And again, for those looking at this to predict time and seeing this arrow pointing over here to February, it doesn't mean anything. You could go down like that. Now, I am going to skip a lot of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on crashing structure stuff. Hopefully you've caught that in the last couple of weeks. I've reviewed that a few times and showed videos on that from the last 2 years. But essentially in that phase of where you are, it puts you in right here. So this is actually XRP's bottom. This is where that video was originated from in January of 2021. As of tomorrow, that video will be 2 years old. Kind of gives you an idea on where you would be in here and why these things can drag on for some time. This phase would essentially be this right in here, still more, and then that would be the end of it. So Bitcoin did something similar to this as well at its bottom. This phase right in here would essentially put you right in here. However, the reason why I say if this thing fires up and gets back to the top of the range in these structures, whenever that happens, that typically means it's over. We're done. There's no more additional accumulating to have happen in here. You could see that happening here for Litecoin when the reversal eventually made its way out of there and up and away it went. But let's peek around at the rest of the market too. So we have a lot of stuff that's up today. Near almost everything is up today. You have Ethereum Classic and Near up over 10%. I believe Songbird is up over 10%. I think it was up like 60% yesterday. Seeing lots of big breaks happen here in the market. There would have to be more follow through from here in order for me to get really excited. So I'm definitely not here to argue the semantics of Solana or how anybody feels about Solana, but like, let's just pretend this. Like, let's pretend that is the actual bottom right there for Solana. Just did a 97% pullback. The bottom is actually in. We're just going to pretend that to be a true and a certainty. We don't know. We're going to pretend it is a certainty. Well, guess what? It is nearly identical to what happened to Ethereum in the 2018 bear, where Ethereum fell down 94%, Solana down 97%. If we say that's the bottom, well, then what did the bottom do for Ethereum down in here? It bounced right off the bottom aggressively, going from 8150 back up to 109. Notice how it pulled back in here. And I'll zoom in on that so we can see what that looked like, how it bounced back up in, but yet still pulled right back down to those lows for a double bottom and had to work it out for a little while. So even that circumstance of if that is the true bottom, not unusual to come back and still work it out for a while before getting out. Looking to Ethereum Classic, what did it do? It came all the way back down. It closed all of the gaps from the breakout that happened in here. We can look at the RSI. You see it very clearly in here. That's a breakout of RSI. No matter how you want to do it in here, we have a breakout in RSI, but it does not mean it will just keep going up. It could mean it has to work it out for a minute before eventually reversing on itself and build an actual bigger divergence to emerge in here. So the point of all of this is saying we're looking really good. Things are looking awesome. We're finally seeing green in the market. We're seeing some stuff do bigger numbers over here. We've seen Solana like 70% off of the bottoms. We saw Songbird fire up over 100% and take back all of the FTX sell-off happen in there. And that happened relatively quick. But these initial breakouts many times come with back tests. And I'm very close to becoming the annoying Moon Boy, which I'm never really annoying Moon Boy, but it's been a long time where it's every video of being like, hey, we're going to break out. We're going to break out. We're really close to getting to that. If we get back, if you see Ethereum or Bitcoin go and break above the top of that range set back there on December 14th, if we get through there, it's on. Moon Boy thumbnails, titles, and videos from there on out. But until then, we've got to see what this thing does right here. And my best guess is a pullback. And then from then on out, likely this stuff. And I will just annoy the bears to high heavens, being like, breakouts incoming. Breakouts incoming. We're going to the moon. Pack your bags. Everybody's going to call you lucky. That is going to be me soon. But we have to get past this phase. And I do expect that this phase down in here would go on and likely be as grueling and grinding as this has been. So people, of course, will get mad at me about that, saying, you say the same thing every day, BCB. But that's just because if you've been paying attention, which I know a lot of you do, you saw how we got to here. You saw how we got back to the top. We pulled back. We did the ABC and grinding of boredom. We get that pulled back. And if we go here, imminent breakout, pack your bags. That's what I'm going to be. So I've paused off on accumulating. I've been accumulating all throughout in here in the market. I'm going to take a break for a little while here to see how this thing plays out. Wait for some more fear to enter back in the market, or this thing's ready to set sail and I've got what I've got. And if all of that does end up playing out, all of that does end up being true, the thing that'll infuriate the bears even more is it will mean all of this was Wyckoff accumulation the whole time since June. It's been right the whole time. And then it's just been a long drawn out spring phase. And so with Bitcoin over here, it's the same story as what we see happening over in there for Ethereum, in that it's just been reduced volatility of sideways and boredom. And that these things, they just keep going until one day, boom, there's just some big breakout. It probably, just judging by how this market seems to work, we seem to always have news time just right. So probably a news event gets attached to it or somehow, and people will give all the credit to the news event. But hey, you know what? I'll take it. Give us some news. Speaking of news, I've tried to show the videos to back up my thought process on all of this, and that even before we ever started going into this phase of showing an ABC that another fall would come. These falls can happen quick. They can happen slow. They can do whatever they want to do. But if we ended up getting a quick one, what would be the thing most people look for? They look for why. why did this happen? And so we have news, a news catalyst apparently coming up within the next 4 days. I'm not fully rehearsed on all of it, with Digital Currency Group, Grayscale, Barry Silbert, the Winklevoss twins, Gemini, Genesis, Earn, lending money with a January 8th deadline, in which 2 days ago, Cameron Winklevoss posted an open letter to Barry Silbert, in which the two of them started hashing it out on Twitter, a couple of billionaires making their business public, with Cameron Winklevoss proclaiming Barry Silbert Digital Currency Group owe them $900 million, and that Barry is hiding in the shadows and not coming through with his obligations, which in the end is hurting 340,000 Earn users from the Gemini platform. Barry Silbert replies that Digital Currency Group did not borrow $1.675 billion from Genesis. They've never missed an interest payment to Genesis, and that they delivered a proposal on December 29th, but haven't received a response. Cameron replies, there you go again. Stop trying to pretend that you and DCG are innocent bystanders and had nothing to do with creating this mess. It's completely disingenuous. So how does DCG owe Genesis $1.675 billion if it didn't borrow the money? Oh, right, that promissory note. Then he follows it up with saying, will you or will you not commit to solving this by January 8th in a manner that treats the $1.1 billion promissory note as $1.1 billion? January 8th, right? But the thing is, everybody sees this coming, right? So is it priced into the market? Or is the market calling the bluff on it? Does the market already know the resolution to this? Or do we sit there and something does happen, prices fall, we get into the accumulation zone, and then everybody believes the sky is falling because now Digital Currency Group has gone under. Imagine that. Imagine if we pull down in here and then everybody thinks that Digital Currency Group has to liquidate all of their Bitcoin, all of their Ethereum, all their everything. Do you think people would be willing to buy here thinking that Grayscale is about to liquidate all of their Bitcoin on the open market and that they're about to liquidate all of their Ethereum in the open market? Do you think anybody would be buying right here? Would they be panicked? Probably pretty panicked. So it'd be interesting to see how all of this plays out, what the resolution to that is, and what narrative would come along in something like that. But kind of get yourself ready that the narrative storm is brewing. And by January 8th, which is Sunday, so by Monday, we'll know what's going to happen with the whole Digital Currency Group, and whether or not this is all a bunch of show for the public, or if this is pressure negotiations, what this is. But we've been watching the charts. If this structure is true to what we've been following, it says there is a dip happening in here. Just be prepared. There looks like there could be a narrative that comes attached to it. So patterns, structures, price action, it's all based on, probabilities. Nothing typically ever happens with 100%. Based on my research, my studying of the markets, and being involved in crypto for about 6 years now, I spend 40 hours a week looking at charts, studying charts. This is the most common play out that you do see. But should this thing decide to go and break up above these levels set back here on December 14th, I'll scratch that. I'll become a moon boy. Till then, I do patiently wait, expecting that to be the highest probable outcome. And while that says a new low for Ethereum and probably for Bitcoin, then from December 16th, not necessarily new lows for really all of November, nor does it necessarily mean new lows for everything, because some things have really shown signs of flicking that bottom already. Just whether or not there still has to be more pullbacks, more consolidations that happen in these things that have really already gained a tremendous amount of speed. Pullbacks would be natural in a moment like that, but not necessarily new lows, and that the bottoms could already be in. So definitely a relief to see green actually be capable of happening in the whole market, as we see on the right side of the screen. I know we can all take that for a day. While talking about another pullback is not like something we all want to hear, I try to really think of it in the bigger mindset of that this is what we were looking for bigger time frames. And for bigger time frames, those are the types of setups that happen before imminent breakout. So we'll watch it as it comes. We'll keep our eyes on it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that happens really quick, or if it's something that is really drawn and grinding out. And I've talked about that in those challenges of the last weeks too, on how these things are all different, on how they all play out. But I've shown examples already in this video many times. They can happen real quick. But then, get ready for the thumbnails. They're coming. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. We're going to wrap this thing up. Sorry I got my video out so late yesterday. My internet went out for hours. I was posting about it over here on Twitter that my internet was out. But, we get this one out pretty early today, so that's awesome. I hope that you guys are doing well. It's nice to see us progressing along here in the crypto market. I'm optimistic. I'm ready to start getting super bullish. If we can just get past this little phase right here, then I'll turn the full thrusters on. Or if we go take out the December 14th top, then the thrusters will be in full speed. But till then, just kind of waiting for this last little thing to play out to see if we actually end up getting what I was looking for. But all right, that's going to be it for this one, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're doing well. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. Really helps the channel. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.